Israel Adesanya made a lot of these guys look like easy work. And people are going to see when Sean loses the belt or he fights whoever he fights next, people are going to start to see that how easy Israel Adesanya made that division look. That's the fucking thing, that he made it look easy. That's how good he is. He's gonna come back better than ever. And again, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I do recognize greatness, and let's be real, guys. Nobody can compete with Israel Adesanya. And no one's ever gonna be able to replicate what he's done in that division. It takes someone special, and those people don't come often. We had a luxury of having Anderson Silva, and then a few years later we got Israel Adesanya. I mean, they got to fight against each other. So, but I think that division, once Israel Adesanya is gone, it's going to be different, and we need to appreciate greatness while we have it. Welcome to the Falso Nueve. Hey, welcome to the Falso Nueve. Well, damn, hold up. Welcome to the Falso Nueve. Welcome to the Falso Nueve. Hey, yay, yay, yay. Welcome to the Falso Nueve. Welcome to the Falso Nueve. Hey, welcome to the False 9 podcast episode 162. All right, guys, we had a great weekend. We had a great episode. Strangely, the full episode didn't do so good, but the clip of me talking about Izzy, which was like 85% of the episode, got over 2,000 views. So I'm very, really, really thankful for that. I'm really happy about that. I feel accomplished. Trying to take that clip channel a little bit more serious because it looks like it's producing more views. Pretty interesting how social media works, and I'm happy that when I made the other clip channel, I used it kind of like data gathering to kind of gauge, how to post and try thumbnails and different titles and things like that. So if you've seen that video, I appreciate it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. So I appreciate that. Thank you for the love. So I still been thinking about last weekend. I know we have UFC Fight Night tomorrow, and I'll talk about that a little bit here. But yeah, I'm still thinking about this past weekend. Haven't been on social media too much, but what I have seen, it feels and it seems like people are turning on Israel Adesanya. Like, people are switching up. People are saying that he's not that good. People are saying that it was rigged. People are saying that what else? I don't know. People are just kind of turning on him. Like, they're not. Like, if he lost some form of value, he already lost to Pereira, avenged the loss. I said that wrong. Got made fun of for that today. Avenged the loss against Pereira. And I don't know, like, they're just, I don't know, they're taking away a lot from Israel. And I'm just like, and I said this on the last, like, he's accomplished so much in a really small, like, period of time, And I just don't understand it. I'm not a big fan of Israel Adesanya. A few episodes ago, I said that he's better than John Jones after this loss. John Jones, I guess, bounces back on top. I mean, for me, pound for pound, GOAT list, whatever you want to say. So, I don't know. It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting how people are switching up on him. And like I said, saying that he's not that good. And, and it sucks. And for me to be called a casual on a daily basis on the internet, it's one of those things where if you switch on Israel Adesanya or you think he's not that good, in my opinion, you're a casual for thinking that Israel Adesanya is not that good, or anything like that. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, the division needs to move on from Israel and this and that. DC said it. Another person said it on the internet. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like, we can move on from Israel Adesanya as champion right now. You can have Sean Strickland go fight Drake Duplessis, or who else is? That's really it. The only contender left, or run it back with Izzy. But the thing is, like, Izzy cleared this division, single-handedly cleared the division. You know, and with new contenders, including like with Sean and Dracus du Plessis, you know, Ian Gary's up there too, like up there in the rankings. Like he's like 9 or something like that. But like I don't know, man. I'm just like, Israel cleared the whole division, and he lost against Alex, you know, and then he goes and fucking destroys Alex. And we all knew he was better than Alex Pereira. We all knew that, you know. He caught him in the first round. If he had more time, he would have finished Alex, you know. And the second fight, it was literally the exact same fight, but Izzy finished. Against Sean Strickland, who the fuck knows what happened? I still think about that fight. I'm like, what happened to Izzy? Like, why did he look so off? Or, you know, or what? Was Sean, what is it called? Stance, was his style, was his pressure different? You know, how was it different from Paulo Costa? How was it different from, like, who's the other Robert Whittaker? Like, compared to those guys, like, you know, those are, we see them and like, man, those guys are killers. Like, how was that pressure different? Or what was different from Sean? You know, like, what was different? The other guy that's there is Khamzat Chimaev, that's up there. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand why people want to see people like move on from the division, you know, things like that. But I don't like how people are disrespecting Izzy. I don't like how people are saying that he's not as good as we all think it is, or saying that, like, let's admit he's not that good. I seen a comment saying that, you know, clearing the division in your prime doesn't put you in the GOAT list. And that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I'm like, you know, and this is a guy, I'm defending a guy who I'm not a big fan of, you know. I'm a big fan of Brandon Moreno and Charles Oliveira. Like, I'm a meat rider for those guys. But everyone else, like, I'm not, like, you know. But I love the sport so much. I love watching UFC. And I'm like, bro, that shit is not cool. Or this shit is, that's how it should be, you know. And I speak, you know, crazy or however I speak, and a lot of people think I'm retarded, stupid, ignorant, whatever, you know. I guess I see some funny stuff. So I don't think it's cool, you know, that people are saying what they're saying about Israel. You know, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm still thinking about it, and I still have really mixed emotions about it. And if I was Israel Adesanya, to be honest with you, I would just, you know what? I know he wants to be the best fighter in the world. He wants to be the champion. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know. My ego would say, let Sean take a title fight. Let him defend the belt. Sean Strickland, I'm sorry. You know, I'm really happy you won. It made me happy. I fucking cried when you won. But I don't think you're going to be able to defend the belt once. You fight Dracus, think you lose to Dracus. You fight, if you fight someone even like Robert Whittaker, that's a 50-50 fight. You fight Khamzat Chimaev, you're destroyed. You fight Paulo Costa, that's a good fight. You know, and Sean, Israel Adesanya made a lot of these guys look like easy work. And people are going to see when Sean loses the belt or he fights whoever he fights next, people are going to start to see that, you know, how easy Israel Adesanya made that division look. That's the fucking thing, that he made it look easy. That's how good he is. So just putting that out there. The other thing I saw that was a little weird is that I forgot who was on the what is it called, the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawani. This girl was saying that, like, in Australia, they don't really, when you make it, they don't support you or whatever. And, you know, Izzy has like a weird, I don't know, he claims New Zealand, Australia, and China. And it seems to me that he wore the red shorts in Australia because, I don't know, I feel like he wanted to represent China, to kind of be like, fuck you, Australia. I don't know. But I know what it feels like, you know, to be somewhere where you're from and you're trying to grind it out, or you do make it and you don't get that support and love, you know, or people start switching up on you, start hating, talking crazy, talking shit. So I don't know. I feel like the whole Israel Adesanya situation is kind of fucked up because again, he has this crazy legacy, and he's not even done. He's nowhere near done. Like, you guys don't. I don't know. You guys don't know, but I have a good feeling that Israel Adesanya, I mean, he might fight again this year. I think he will, to be honest, but it might not be for a title. And dude, he's gonna fucking kill it. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna come back better than ever. And again, I'm not a big fan of this guy, but I do recognize greatness, and he is way levels. I mean, Drakus could probably give him a good fight, and Khamzat Chimaev could give him a good run for his money. But besides that, like, let's be real, guys. Nobody can compete with Israel Adesanya. And no one's ever going to be able to replicate what he's done in that division. It's it takes someone special, and those people don't come often. We had a luxury of having Anderson Silva, and then a few years later we got Israel Adesanya. I mean, they got to fight against each other, so. But I think that division, once Israel Adesanya is gone, it's going to be different, and we need to appreciate greatness while we have it, So that's that. Now, the other thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way, like I mentioned it last week or the last episode, Dana White was talking about giving a rematch for Israel Adesanya, and he got dominated for 5 rounds. Few weeks ago, we had the Aljamain and Sean O'Malley fight. Aljamain got knocked out, and in Sydney, when he was there, he did like a little Snapchat thing where he said Sugar rematch, and then Sugar replied with no, and then all these people started joining, like Cheeto, and then what's his fucking name, Marab, right? So I don't understand why Sean doesn't want to fight Aljamain Sterling, because. Again, I'm not a big fan of Aljamain Sterling either, but I recognize greatness when I see it. I understand that he won the belt in a weird way. I don't like how he got the belt, but I mean, he got the belt, and then he beat Peter Yan against TJ Dillashaw. He was injured, and I was like, bro, you fought a guy with no shoulder, and it was just like, and he was talking shit. He was like, whatever, this and that. And I get it. I was like, man, I guess I'm not a fucking fan. You're annoying. Like, you won the belt easy again, whatever. That was my attitude. And then when he fought Henry, I was like, okay, Henry's going to get the job done. Everybody thought Henry was going to get the job done. Everybody thought that. They go 5 rounds. I mean, and Aljamain, he put a pure class performance. That was the best version of Aljamain Sterling that we saw. And he looked fucking great. And that was what his Peter Yan, TJ. That was his 4th title fight, 4th one. And this is a short period of time that this is happening. And then right after Henry, it's like a few weeks later, the Sugar fight gets announced, and it's like, I feel bad for Aljamain. I don't want him to be champion. I want Sugar to be champion, but I just don't like how Sugar's approaching it. Like, just closing the door on a rematch. And people might be like, oh, well, why would you want a rematch? Like, he got knocked out. And I'm like, because Aljamain Sterling was the champion. That was his 5th title fight in a row. And now he got knocked out, but how is he not, like, the number 1 contender? Or how is he not still capable of a title fight? Especially, a knockout that could have been lucky, could have not. Obviously, Sean O'Malley has the power. The stoppage was a little early, in my opinion. He I don't think he was getting up, but I mean, when you look back at it, you start to think, and you're like, man, well, I mean, we don't know. We don't know. He wasn't completely out, He was a little out of it, but he wasn't all the way out. And it's just like, fuck, like, it just doesn't sit right with me. Again, I love this sport more than anything. I'm a fan of Sean. But even after, I was like, Sean couldn't take out Aljamain. He didn't finish him. Like, it's like, oh, he's done, finish the fight. It was a questionable stoppage. He dropped him. But when Sean, and I said this when he did this to Peter Yan, when he cracked Peter, he couldn't finish like that. When he cracked Aljamain, he couldn't capitalize on finishing Aljamain. It wasn't an obvious finish. So for Sean to think that Aljamain doesn't deserve a rematch, I don't see it. They gave Peter Yan his rematch right away on a disqualification. And Aljamain can't get a rematch. I don't get it. And I think it's shitty. But like I said, I really hope that Aljamain Sterling says, fuck it. I'm going to stay at 135 and I'm going to get my belt back. And I really hope so. And the funniest thing about this, if Sean O'Malley goes and fights Chito Vera, what happens if Chito wins? Like, what happens if Chito wins? I don't think he will, but can you imagine if he does? And let's say what are you gonna do? Give Sean O'Malley a third fight with Chito? Like that I don't know. That's something to think about. I think about that. I was like, what if Sean gets caught? What if he gets ragdolled for 5 rounds? What if Chito goes on a crazy, crazy training camp and this is his opportunity to get the belt? And he goes and gets it done and beats Sean O'Malley. I mean, Sean O'Malley's 0-2 against Chito at this point. Why would you run it back? Why would you give Sean O'Malley a third fight with Chito? That's how I see it, and karma's a bitch. And I really hope that doesn't happen to Sean. Like I said, I hope they run it back with Aljamain. If I'm Sean O'Malley, I want to fight the best. I want to be the best. That's why I'm in the UFC, to fight the best. The best right now is Aljamain Sterling and Merab. Peter Yan. Henry Cejudo. Not fucking Chito. He goes fight Chito. Then what you gonna do? Who you gonna fight? You gotta fight killers at this point. I love Sean. I'm a big fan, but I don't like how he's approaching this title thing. I don't like how he's been I don't know. I think he's been a little disrespectful towards Aljamain. You gotta respect Aljamain. He's probably the best ever in that division. And I don't know. He's not getting treated like that. So when he goes, let's say he fights Chito, he beats Chito, he's gonna have to fight Merab, Peter, Henry. I'm sorry, but I don't think he'll be able to do it, and again, I love Sean, but just how he's running away from Aljamain Sterling, I'm just like, bro, you're not going to be champion that long then. But that's me. So let's move on from that. We got UFC Fight Night. I'm excited. I'm excited because they're going to be entertaining fights. They're going to be fun. There's not a lot of big names. It's nothing besides the main event. It's nothing like a real high-ranked contender fighting. So let's start with it. We have Alexa Grasso versus Valentina. For the main, we have Kevin Holland versus Jack Della. Maddalena, damn, that's a crazy name. Then we got Raul Rosas versus Terrence Mitchell. We'll start with Raul Rosas. I forgot who he fought last, but he looked very sloppy on his last fight. He lost. This fight, I don't think it's going to be any different. I really hope he trained a little bit differently. I really hope he included some striking, because I understand you want to go out there and wrestle, but you can't be holding on for dear life. And that's what happened last fight. And he got out wrestled, by a man, like an older man, So against Terrence Mitchell, I've seen him fight once or twice. Not too familiar, if I'm being honest. But I think Terrence Mitchell can stuff the takedowns, and I think he's going to come out on top. He's going to beat Raul Rosas. I don't think Raul Rosas, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird because he's so young. He got signed to the UFC at a very young age, and it's like, well, is he? I mean, I think he's good, but, at that age, I don't know, man. I don't think he should have started in the UFC now, just because I thought he was a little bit better, and I don't think he is as good as we all think he is. Don't get me wrong, he's very promising and very good. Or maybe we should go to what is it called? The Contender Series, do one of those. I don't think he did. Or maybe he did. I don't know. But I think he needs a backtrack. Raul Rosas needs a backtrack. If he gets a dub and he looks great, then I'm wrong. But if he gets like just beat up, slept, or just ragdogged himself, then I don't. He needs a backtrack and figure it out. So that's my input on that. Like I said, he's so young, and it's a very difficult thing, to kind of make a career decision at that age, because he can stop fighting and go to college or something. He can keep fighting and have a very long career, but he has to figure it out, and hopefully he does. So we'll see how that fight. That's why that fight's exciting. I just want to see how he's gonna look against this fighter, And the next fight up, we have Kevin Holland versus what's his name, Jack Della. I think Kevin's 12 and this guy's 13. So Kevin Holland, last press conference, if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned like he just wants to have fun fights, have a good time in the UFC, and put out performances. And I think we all know like he's not title contender worthy, which is perfectly fine. This other guy, not familiar with him at all. I'm not going to give a prediction on the fight, to be honest with you. But honestly, as long as we have a good fight, Kevin Holland's really exciting to see. I love watching Kevin Holland fight. He's awesome. He's entertaining. I like how he talks. Sometimes he talks funny, talks shit. Sometimes he just says the truth. Like he says, he wants to put out the best fights. He's not going to be fighting for title fights, and he's not going to be fighting like killers. He just wants to put good fights, and I think it's awesome that he's truthful about it. Now, yeah, like I said, hopefully we just see a nice fight, a war, get bloody, maybe, I don't know. And I'm worried about this fight card being a little boring, and hopefully it's not. And hopefully the Kevin Holland fight's really entertaining. And then we have Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. I'm really not happy, but it's kind of good that they didn't put this on pay-per-view. They could have probably put it on the co-main, but I like that they wanted to give it all the attention, and they took a different approach, and they're like, let's put this title fight on a UFC fight night, and let's make it in Mexico. I want to say that's where it's at, and because it's a Mexico Independence Day card. Last time, I think it was like the third or the fourth, Alexa Grasso, took Valentina's back and tapped her out. And, she looked like a monkey out there, just jumped on her and just clapped. And that was the end of it. But Alexa was losing that fight, in my opinion. Now, I don't know how good Alexa has gotten since that point, because we all seen it happen when for most instances when somebody becomes UFC champion, they just get so much better. Like their confidence is like poof up there, and they're training so much more differently, I'm assuming, and they're just on it. So like, can you imagine if, and hopefully this was what happened, that Alexa Grasso, she goes back home, starts fucking training, going crazy, goes hard, and just puts out Valentina and makes her look easy. Like that would be dope to see, and hopefully that's what we see. I really don't want to see, Valentina just go 5 rounds and just beat up Alexa 5 rounds and that's it. Now, if Valentina does wins, you can't be mad at that. It is what it is. But I am rooting for Alexa. She's Mexican, and then Valentina's been champion for a long time, and I hate saying this, but maybe her time is done as champion, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a good fight. I think it's going to be a very technical fight. It's a title fight. And I know that Valentina wants to get her belt back, and I know Alexa does not want to lose that belt, And I want to say she's the only Mexican right now left with a title, so hopefully she can hang on to it and, still be a Mexican champion in the UFC. And again, hopefully we just see a good fight. Like I said, I'm worried. I'm a little worried that it's going to be a little boring, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's entertaining. So that's UFC. It sucks because the the next pay-per-view or the next what is it called, main event, or no, not the main event, the next, was it UFC 294? It's gonna be in October, like 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be the Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. That fight's gonna be freaking insane. I'm so excited. But that's a month from now. You know, that's, I want to say that's was it 4 weeks? That's 8 episodes from now. You know, that'll be the 8th episode. So I'm gonna have to get real creative. I know we'll have UFC fight nights. We'll have some drama here and there, things to talk about. But I'm gonna have to get real creative and figure some things out to put out some good content, because it's real easy to do it when there's pay-per-views around, but I gotta get a little creative when there's not. So we'll see how it goes. With that being said, if there's anything you guys want me to talk about or comparisons or anything like that, you know, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the DM. I do look to the DMs, but if it's silly, I'm not gonna reply. So yeah, that concludes this episode 162. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Watch some football. We got a Clásico Chivas America. I think the Cowboys, we play the Jets. Yeah, we play the Jets. No Aaron Rodgers, so that'll be nice. And what else do we have? Oh, we got football today. Damn, I didn't do my little thing. But okay, guys, you guys have a great one. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.